Hi friends, so welcome to this third session on the user management system, coding and automation part, everything. So let's get started. So right, so in the very first video we have seen that we started with Google Gemini and very basic prototype is built and we have the SRS document mind map, postman collection, automation, Docker based solution, SQLite and Python and the postman collection. So this was very basic, it is working. There's a video already for this. In the second part, I have added some additional APIs or endpoints. For example, delete user forget password, registration link, retrieve again, and the user details are expanded and so on. There's also a video for this. So let's go to third part. So here, main thing is I have shifted to ChatGPT. I'll tell you the reason for that. So, and I have added couple of more features. For example, OTP based registration and login. Then, if your account will get locked after three attempt of incorrect password. If you already logged out, then the user cannot update profile or delete user. And then the refresh token endpoint. This in case maybe if the user is inactive for let's say more than specified time, then the front end will have to get the token again. So that is why this API is enabled. And as usual, the postman collection automation 100% pass and the Swagger document test cases mind map. So this all everything is generated by ChatGPT prompts or AI. So let's get started. Yeah, yeah, more or less the same. Okay. So for that we will start with the prompt or the instructions what I have given to ChatGPT. So one thing I want to show here is if I am using the earlier tool, this anyway I'm using a free version because uh, I don't want to upgrade to the plus version. So here what I really observed is like I was having a break of 1 or 2 days. So within that, this forgot a lot of context. Though I have asked, like I was giving a context. Can you provide the entire development side code again and all? So it literally lost the context because of the time gap for whatever reason. So I have to start from the basic again, and then I'm already on the third stage. So don't want to go for this. So that's why I'm shifting to ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT has many features, but then the thing is, I'm using this 1 year free ChatGPT Go version where it is sufficient for me for now, and I'm going to continue. So here, the basic thing is like, do you remember the context when I started this entire conversation it remembered from I think 3 days back. So yeah, it remembered a lot of things. Then I asked. Uh, Yeah. So then what I did is I had this discussion split into two things. One is the development side, and this is the automation side. So development side, everything will be done here. And what will happen is from development side, I will get a Swagger file. I will get SRS, the requirement document, and I will get the test case document. So everything I will give as a fresh input to this. Now again. This is this is a separate discussion or a separate prompt, I would say separate session where it is independent of what is happening from the development side. So in a way it is good that it just refers to the Swagger file and the test case document and then independently generate the postman collection, then the automation framework and so on. So that is a key. uh, what I observed is if you do everything in the development and automation, everything in one session or one discussion, then sometimes it might get confused and we have to rework on a lot of other things. So that's why I separated. Okay. So coming to the prompts and those things, I decided there were around 10 more utilities or features I wanted to add. So I zeroed on only these four. Again, I have to shift from the earlier tool to this tool, so that took a lot of time. Right. So OTP based registration. So when you want to register, um, you have to enter email and click submit, and then the system will generate a OTP, and then the for now the OTP will get in the API response only, and that OTP plus the password you have to enter, and then that will be registration complete. So registration, there are two APIs now, or two endpoints. Then, as usual, after three login attempt with the incorrect password, your account will be locked for 5 minutes. This is 5 or 10 or 15. This is customizable, and during the locking period, you'll always get a 400 error that account is locked. And this is again in some config file. Logged out user, yes, same thing. Like after logged out, after logging out, you cannot update or delete user, and the refresh token. Right. So the again here we have to provide a little bit of context. Please continue the development. Continue means the one so far whatever was discussed, and this is a extension to that. And yeah, so far development done will be called as legacy flow. One thing I've done is, though there are two flows, legacy flow and the new flow, but then in the automation or in the manual testing, I've covered only the new flow. The older flow is discarded. Basically, the non-OTP related thing that is discarded. Right. So again, it is V3 version 3 flow. It's based on a flag. I'll show that flag also. And yeah, the steps I have told here, that in the V3 flow, during registration, first the user enter the email ID, then submit, and then if it is not duplicate, then the response would be six-digit OTP, six-digit OTP, and the session key, uh, uh, and session key. Then enter the email, password, and session key and OTP. All fields are mandatory. Then the registration is successful, and so on. Uh, yeah, I have told that add suitable points, add suitable endpoints. Take care of if there is any impact on other endpoints, just in case, and remember the relevant instruction from the earlier development. So the point to understand here is we have to be very cautious to set the context to this tool, AI tools, any of the AI tools, that remember so and so, so and so, so and so, and now we want little delta, or just tweak this, or just change so and so point, and then give us the entire code back. Sometimes it might happen that only the let's say there are 10 files, then it will just give one file to be downloaded, or from the two files it will say, okay, from two files just modify these two methods. So it might be okay for some situation, but then many of the times I have asked him, okay, do this delta change and give me the entire code, or at least give me the entire file which is going to change. If there's a one line change also in that file, give me the entire file, so I'll just replace it. I just don't want to go into code and replace just the methods or variable names, so replace everything. Yes, so these are the common instruction. So first thing is always, if I want to add some feature or this thing, the very first thing is I will get a SRS. Okay, so this SRS again is very standard. It acts as a reference from development, QA, uh, management, and many other people. So generate the SRS. SRS I have received. Again in the SRS, uh, they have to set the context, continue the earlier SRS development, and then just add this delta. So there were issues later, I'll show you that also. Then generate the mind map. Okay, mind map is independent, but then it is good that have that mind map just after the SRS. Then implement using Python based framework, and please remember all the context since the beginning. This varies how much you want to inform to the tool or ChatGPT, like what context you want to remember. But I said remember all the context. Then these are all the same stuff. Docker compose based solution. Um, right, that is okay. Right, so this is important. Provide all code in zip format to download. When you say I want to download something, then it will give you a link, or at least the file that you can readily download and just replace in your code, or if there is new file, just add it in the code. So this is important. If you don't, so this is what my observation, if you don't provide this, it will show the code on the screen. Okay, it will show uh, the code on the screen, something like this, and it will start explaining, why I did this, why the tool did this, what are the steps it has taken, and then it will ask a follow-up question. Okay, so now this is ready, now what next you want to do, and so on. Again, in my uh, point of view, this is not necessary. Again, it will consume your tokens, so-called tokens, so that the more question you ask, you will consume your daily quota and so on. That's why I don't want to go much into those. Just provide me the deliverables and I'm happy. Yes. Now please provide. So now once OTP is received during registration for a particular user, then the OTP, then that OTP should be valid. Other OTP should not be valid. Yes, just to avoid any mixing of the OTP between two or three different users, whatever OTP you receive during the registration flow, then that should be there in the database for the corresponding user only, and for other users it will be different OTP. Right. So that is one thing. Um, Yes, Swagger. Yeah. So as I said, now everything will be, so the connection between the or the reference point between the development side and the testing side or the automation side will be a Swagger file, which is a very good practice industry wide. That it is basically a contract between two teams. That okay, this is what we will respect. You do development and you do the testing, right? So in the Swagger again, there is a tool here. Whatever Swagger file is generated, so online just search for Swagger editor or something. There's a Chrome plugin also. So once the Swagger file is generated, you just paste it here and you can see, you can visualize this, okay, how the Swagger is. uh, let's say, yeah, Swagger file. Okay, the Swagger file is in the API folder. Paste. Hello. Yeah. So immediately we'll see here, okay, what are the APIs that are, what are the input output parameters and the status codes and all. I So yeah, so additional points. So remove the legacy flow, okay, from the Swagger. Yes, okay. Mention the positive and negative details. For example, if there is a 201 status code and 403, those things. So that should be addressed. So that is what it is. And if you don't tell him, then it might do some basics, a round of stuff or whatever optimization. So for 200, okay, then for 400 401, we'll get this. Let's see for this one. Yeah, so for put API or put method, then happy path is fine. uh, but then 400 or 403 500, so this kind of response we will be expecting. Yeah. So this I have to tell explicitly, otherwise it will just ignore this, okay, and just cover the happy path. So we have to tell, mention everything and then provide, just give me the swagger.yml file and that's it. I'm good. Okay, after this, test cases, right? So you see the approach I've used here is, go step by step, do the documentation first, do the contract first, do the mind map things first, and then finally you jump to the automation. Okay. So do the manual testing first, and then if manual testing is fine, then you generate the automation. So that way, every stage the things will be sorted and it will not create much problems later. So test case, yes, test case again based on the Swagger document, positive negative test cases as usual. Then we are using the boundary value analysis for most of the cases. This technique, positive negative test case to be grouped and the test case in a Word document. So this, by the way, this everything is available in the GitHub, right? So this link I will give you in the chat, in the description of the video, right? So v3, okay, v3 we have again the same slides I have used here. Fine. So we have this development side solution or the code, which is again Docker based, Docker Compose based, and then we have a API. So in the API testing, API framework, basically we have the Swagger file, then we have the test case document, SRS document, postman collection, mind map, and the actual Python automation code. Okay, and there's a README. and this prompt thing, so that is the same file what we are discussing. Okay, so you can download it, you can run it. I'll show you how to run also. Right, so after that, postman collection. So postman collection, as we know, it is used for the manual testing purpose. And here also we have to be very very careful what we want, what we don't want. Give the detailed instruction. Prepare fresh, complete and ready to use postman collection which I can readily import. Okay. uh, yeah, in the postman, just click on import and drag the JSON file here, the automation file here. Okay, so this is the one I'm using. Okay, add the console logs. So what happens is, if you receive a OTP or session ID or any kind of a code, then it might be useful for the next API. So it has generated the script. For example, let's see here. So if you want to do registration, then in the registration there is a script that extract the state, the for example OTP and the session key, and that will be, that should, that is expected to be available in the in the global variable. Okay. For some reason it didn't work, but let's see. Okay. Refer the swagger file, the one which is generated earlier, and yeah, and header as content type. So this is again found that many times postman collection is buggy, is flaky. The collected the generated postman did not have the proper URL, did not have the proper body, and so on. So I have to tell it that okay, add content type, then the base URL variable, everything you have to add, or you have to add the details and the provide the required JSON file to download. Okay. So just to show you the context, this is the development related thing and this is the QA related thing. So if you see development side, I have to tell him explicitly that the field level details has to be proper. Like for example, email should be of this much length and the pattern of the email, password and password pattern, and so on. So it generated the SRS first, but that it didn't give any document. So I have to ask it specifically later that okay, it didn't it that mind map it has given SRS document. Please use the link to download. Okay. So it's an iterative process. It's not like one shot solution. So in the documented, which is in the actual provided document, there might be some flaws. So you have to again redo the thing. Yeah, please update the SRS with this specification. For example, email is so and so constraint, password is so and so constraint, uh, and it can be given it again. Now, now the development part. So we have to write the code again. It's a Docker-based solution, so that yeah, we have seen that the development side is implement Docker and those things. So it has given me the code and some other things like the host and those things, Docker commands. That is fine. Now, now we want a Swagger file, right? So Swagger file is generated, but again, okay, Swagger file for now no issues. Then, as discussed, I have in the V3 flow. Um, in the V3 flow, registration will be email ID and submit, and then the OTP thing. Okay, so this I have given and all the general details. Yes. So again, SRS has to be generated. Then again the coding. So this is the coding plan, the actual development and implementation, Docker commands, and so on. Again, the requirement has to be updated. Swagger file has to be generated again 2 3 times. Then I ran this on local Docker and I ran into some issues. So I specifically told, okay, I'm getting a in this method I'm getting an exception SQLite this thing. So then it changed the container also. So let's see that uh, Docker compose. right? So it is using the SQLite web container. Earlier it was just using a very basic container. Now the thing is I wanted to change to this container because I wanted to have it exposed on a port so that I can also see the database. That I can fire the raise some SQL query in the database and I can see. Okay, so this also we will see visually. So that is a change. Then there were some errors after change password API call. It was having some issues, so that it fixed. Um, Forget password again. Forget password was not implemented for some reason. It skipped it, so I have to ask it again. So if you see, every time I'm saying, please fix and provide the file to download, and no nothing else, no explanation. Don't do anything else. So the again auth given, then v3, then sufficient logging. Yes, that is helpful for Docker based solution because once the code goes in Docker, we cannot debug it, so we can see the logs. So add sufficient logging. Then delete user API was somehow it removed it, so I have to ask it again. Then yeah, there are many. So this is also I would not say 100% perfect tool, but the thing is it remember the context, which is good for me, and the I am telling it to do small improvement, and it is able to do it. So that is the point. Yeah, I have to ask it for a different container. So which is this container? As I googled it, like simple SQLite or SQLite something. So this is again little extended, and it's a lightweight. Then logout. Yeah, so one small change to logout related implementation. Then again the Swagger file, the updated Swagger file. Again, there were some issues. So yeah, login attempt. So I added one small feature. So I'm going step by step, and one small changes I'm asking it to do. So again, three attempts after login. If you do incorrect username and password, then it is account is locked and those things. Then yeah, so I asked him like, uh, any database file has to be updated and all. So yeah, that is what it is. Those that is a discussion. Let's go back to the prompt thing. So manual testing postman and now the automation part. So freshly implemented automation. So again, I'm giving it reference of a Swagger file and the SRS document that you will see in the chat. Uh, yeah, you in the Docker Compose use the this container. Okay, this image I would say, and it is available. Once it is done and deployed, then it's available on this particular URL. Now logout URL, yes, for logout URL, this feature I'm going to add. So generate the code, then the three attempt on a code, that is one thing. Then refresh session key endpoint to be added. So it needs an email, current session ID, and the password. And once the this API is called, then the session key will be freshly generated, and that should be again dumped into the database for a particular user. Again, done. Do the development side code again. Uh, do the Swagger file again. Then the SRS delta changes. Then mind map. Then test cases. Uh, then manual testing postman. So after this, it took me around I think 2 hours or 3 hours something just to validate everything is fine. That the postman is fine, the mind map is fine, that SRS is fine, test cases are fine, Swagger is fine. Then okay, so in that there was one issue that for the update profile positive test case, happy path test case, it is expecting 202 code, But then 202 code was never implemented anywhere, so it is giving 200. So I have to ask him, okay, now make this delta change, and then again designate the SRS and other things. Okay, so now again postman collection, because the status code is changed, and finally automation. So automation, we can see that earlier in the part 2. API testing framework. So here, if you see, there are around 12 points. Okay, there are 12 points. If you see the question 2.5, but in the question 3. No, 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 this one 3.20. Here, I am just saying that use the attached zip file. So what I tried to give it a lot of context, but then somehow it was skipping something, or the automation code was little buggy. So I simply did the this is the automation code. So I simply zipped this and use that as zip file as ultimate reference, and then just do this 200 to 202, 200 instead of 202 status code change, and provide the updated but entire code again. Okay, it reduces number of points, and it is bit straightforward, instead of keep on giving it a lot of context, everything. So this worked for me for simple reasons, that's why I'm using it. Right, so that is all. Now let's see the development side code. So again, this is the folder structure. So we have a database queries and all. We, because of this OTP and those things, this alter table has to be done. There is this additional columns are added. Then database fine. This is fine. So let's see the auth profile user version 3, which is registration, and mean not by again these are common. So some data, every field validation. So again, email, password validation, name, first name, those things. Main file is basically to redirect your APIs and some endpoints. Then we have a router. So in that router only we are seeing this. So if it is a, let's say, registration in it, then what should happen? Then registration complete. So these are the two additional APIs added. Endpoints added slash register slash init slash register slash complete. So this is the two APIs which will solve our purpose, the OTP thing. Then we have auth. In the auth we have login, logout, forget password, refresh session. Okay, then in the user profile, we have get user, update user, delete user. uh, and the users we have register and confirmation. Okay, so pretty much not that much complex. Okay, we have used variables, maximum login attempt, and then how much time to log the account, and registration flow, v3 flow is enabled or not. Okay, now so we have to docker file, right? So docker compose YAML, yeah. So we have to start the command prompt, so which I have. Let me just go to this folder, backend solution. We have docker file, docker file. Okay, so let's start a terminal here, and the simple commands would be docker compose build. So this is the docker. If you see, there is no container, there is no volume. There are some images, okay, but it might be reused. Fine. So docker compose build. Then I have docker compose up. space minus d. So this will start the volume and make the container running, and we will see the docker logs, docker compose logs minus f. Okay, not this one. Docker compose logs minus f. Okay, so now it is up and running. Now let us first do some basic thing in the postman. So in the postman we'll see the version first, version API. Yeah, version is this 200. Okay, okay. Then we will do the registration. So in the registration base URL, and we as a body or as a request body, we will just need the email so that we will get an OTP. Now this email is coming from this API collection, the common variables. So email, I will say duser 444. Okay, so this is the new one. So I'll do a registration. Yes, registration is done. Then I have to. So after this, there is a script which should actually extract the OTP and session key and copy it here in the variable, but that is not happening. So I'm doing it for the sake. I'm doing it manually. So OTP here and the session key here. Right. So control is save. So registration complete. Next API complete. So here if you see, it needs the email, password, OTP and session key. So this it will take it from the this variables. So registration completed. Okay. Now we will do a login. So for login body, we need a just email and password. So we have it in the variable. Now the thing is, it will generate the session key, which is expected, the new session key, and this we have to take it and paste here. So for further APIs, we will need this session key. Right. So login is there. Then we have a get profile for this particular email and session key. So yes, as of now we just provided the email. There is no first name, last name, nothing, no other variable. So we'll go to update profile, which will use the same uh, update profile. So it will use the same email, password, session key, and the new values we want to set for whatever other variables. So send it. Get user updated. So update API is fine. So let's see, the first name was Jonathan and Williams, right? So here we were not getting any first names. Now we should get the first name, last name, and country. So whatever we updated, that we should receive. Okay. And same thing for delete user or forget password. So let's do the forget password. So forget password. Uh, Password updated successfully. Uh, we have to send the email, new password, and confirmation. So new password, again, it is basically the same password, this one, but just that we have called the API and verified. Now we have a delete user. So delete user, we just need email, password, and the session key, right? So click on it. So deleted successfully. Now let's do one more thing. Register once again. I will do a registration with a new email ID. Instead of 444, I will say 555. Right? Control is save. Now let's see the logs also. So there is a couple of logs here, and one more thing is the database. So database we want to see on the console or on the web. So it is on the 8080 port. Yes. So because we are using a different container, not the very basic SQL. This is a little enhanced one, and we can see the database things in on the UI. So we go to manage user management users, and then content. So we have two users added. Okay, and the columns what we are expecting, right? So, let's do one more thing. uh, Let's register once again. Register. So it registered with this email ID called as d user 555. So if you go to database and go here and come back, so this additional entry should be there, and all the other values. Okay, so I just wanted to show that the advantage of using a different container for SQLite is we can see it separately. Okay, and here from here also we can say edit or delete. So delete, right? So deleted successfully. So you don't have to run the Docker commands and those things, right? So that is one. Now, so we have seen the code, we have seen the logs also, and we have seen the postman demo also. Now, let us see before seeing running the automation, we'll see the other documents. So those will be found here. So postman collection, yeah, this is the same collection. That is fine. Then uh, SRS document. So in the SRS document, pretty easy to understand. As of now, it is very basic structure, but yes, that is what we want. For update profile, success response is 200 instead of 202. So it is mentioned that, and so on. Now this might be very basic, as I said, but then let's see. Now mind map. So this is a mind map also. Though this is not 100% expect as expected, but yes, this covers many of the APIs and all, so you can go through later. And the thing is test case document. So test case document, first it generated the very basic type and which I didn't like. So I asked him, okay, generated once again, and then we need to have the steps, okay, because these are the steps which are very important for any of the test cases, right? So positive test cases, negative test cases, boundary value analysis, and that's it. Okay. Now let's run the automation code. Okay, so I've generated the automation here. Um, so here, let's understand the photo structure. So we have copied the Swagger file, user, mind map, and the postman collection, SRS document, and test case document. This is not relevant for the automation, but it is in the same folder. Now, a couple of things here. So you can see this later also, test metadata. So here on purpose, the email ID, I'm going to change the pattern. For example, demo 3332, demo 2222, demo 444, demo 2222, 444. And the other endpoints and all, payload, okay, for the user. So what is happening here? So this is a file where it will test almost all the scenarios. Um, so we have a registration, then complete each endpoint. We have a separate test case. Okay, so in a way, it will verify each and every method and API. Right. So there are some common stuff. For example, API client. So API client is basically from the conf test. Okay, so there's every file will have its own advantages and all. So we have done a separation so that we can reuse it across other places. Right. So registration flow. Every API we have an individual test case. So let's do one thing. I'm running the automation and side by side I want to see the logs also. So run the entire file. We should see the additional logs. Yes, we can see the additional logs, and almost everything is passed. Everything is passed. So it is a green. Right. So automation is passing. Then we have seen the database also here. So if you see the content, go some other place, content and the yeah, demo 444 is also available here. Now Automation related file generation. So I've given it a Swagger. I have told him to use the attached one and then generate the postman collection. Again, the same instruction, but then once you give it, then next time onwards, it may remember. Okay, again, depends on the context. Uh, so if you update existing postman, there's highly likely chance that it will remove the unwanted unused code. Um, Sometimes very good, but sometimes not that good. So we have to do iteration, right? So looks like many endpoints is missing and all. Postman collection again. Um, Status code was changed from to 200 instead of 202. So that change we have to incorporate. Um, right, manual testing using Python. Sorry, in Postman. Once again, right. Now the next is the automation implementation. Automation freshly implementation. See, you can avoid attaching and you can simply give this instruction. So it will generate automation, but sometimes it will fail. Sometimes it will have some basic things lacking. So that's why it is every time it is good to tell the tool explicitly what we want. Okay, so we have seen many things. This is fine. Code is available in the GitHub. Then we have seen the demo also. We have run all the tasks and it is passing. Docker thing, Docker images. There's a volume. Okay, volume. There's a container and there are images. Right. So I think that's all for this version 3. In the so stay tuned in version 4. Maybe I'll be adding more features or some infra related things. Um, yeah. So thank you all. Please like, share, and subscribe this channel. Thank you.